In this video using light exercises, I will demonstrate the basics of how to use the node tool, the pen tool, and the corner tool in Affinity Designer. Also, I will illustrate a logo while capturing the use of these tools. Let's dive right in. In one of my videos to help you get started, I talked about understanding the tools and user interface in Affinity Designer. You can click on the link above somewhere here or here to watch so you don't get to miss out on any step. So today I want us to have in mind that we are working in the vector persona or design based persona, and we'll be focusing on the tools, specifically the node tool, the pencil tool, the pen tool rather, and the corner tool. There's also something that is worthy of note right here. The pen tool draw nodes, the node tool edit nodes, and the corner tool smoothens nodes. And for you to activate your pen tool, all you need to do is press P on your keyboard and your pen tool will be activated, as you can see right here. For you to activate your node tool, all you need to click is A and your node tool will be activated. As you can see right here, the cursor icon had actually changed to this form. But there's something peculiar about the corner tool. When you activate the corner tool, the cursor does not change. What just happens is the corner tool indicates that it is activated. However, the cursor icon would not change, just like we can see. So if you press C, you'll be activating your corner tool, but the cursor icon will not change. Having established that, let us dive right in to see some of the ways we use the node tool and the pen tool in the course of design. Pretty much this is a basic approach that could lay the foundation for other complex vector related designs where you have to be interacting with your nodes, your pencil, and your corner tools. First off, with the use of our pen tool selected right here, we can create the state line by clicking at one end within your canvas, holding down shift and clicking on another end within your canvas. You can decide to create another node within this line you created or within this curve you've created by simply clicking on anywhere along the line of the curve once, and there you have it. Now we have a fresh node on our line or on our curve. Now with this node created, we can decide to change this line into a curve. What do we do at this point? We activate our node tool. Remember, to activate your node tool, you either come to this vector tool area and click the node icon, or you punch A on your keyboard and your node tool will be activated. So highlighting one of the nodes you wish to work on part time or adjust part time, you can shift this way or that way or that way. So let's assume this is the node we're working on part time and I have moved it. You would notice from the usual things we would see, especially in complex designs, this is supposed to have handles at this point in time. But right now, what we have right now is a sharp edge or a sharp corner node. So for us to make it a rounded corner node or a smoother corner node, we need to come to this convert icon here and make it smooth. As you can see, it has activated the smooth corner within the curve on that particular point where we have that node. Now, at this point, we can decide that we want the handles. These are the handles here, the handles of this particular node. We want one of them to be able to make movements while we're adjusting this curve or this line at an increment of 45 degrees. For us to get that done, we hold down shift, click on one of the handle and adjust. You will notice that as you adjust, it can only adjust or rotate at an increment of just 45 degrees and nothing more. So depending on where this particular principle or where this particular technique applies, remember this is how you apply it. You hold down shift, you move one of the handle of the node you have selected and you rotate at an increment of 45 degrees. You can also decide to create a sharp point within your curve when you have selected a particular node. Let's just assume we don't want to make use of this node again. We want to create a fresh node along that line of curve. Let's click once here and there we have a fresh node. And what we want to do with this node, we want a situation where we can create a sharp curve at that particular node or at that particular point we've selected. What will happen is when you hold down your option key on your Mac or your alt key on your Windows PC, select one of the handles and you move it. If you notice, the other handle remained where we left it while this other one is affected. This is the only one making the movement and is being affected. So that is how you create a sharp point within your curve. As we continue, we will see how we can really apply these techniques to a proper design. Let's go ahead and select multiple nodes and move them like we'll move any other element within our canvas. So having selected multiple nodes, you can move these around to any length you want, and you can continue this line of curve by selecting the end of one of the nodes and then going to your pen to clicking on anywhere on the canvas, and the lines would connect, and you can close this line by joining at the point where the line or the node is highlighted red, and there you go. So this is just a basics or a foundation to you having to understand the needs, the bits or the basics around nodes, the pen tool, how they interact, and so on. Let's go ahead and see how we can demonstrate or put these techniques, these basic techniques we've learned to use. Already, when we started this video, we mentioned you can create a straight line by clicking on the pen tool, clicking somewhere at the point within your canvas, clicking on another point within the canvas, and you create a straight line. That's pretty much straightforward. Now let's try and create a zigzag using the same principle or technique. One point here, 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 and there you have it. So there we have it. We've been able to create a zigzag using those basic techniques we had mentioned earlier. Let's create a curve using the same technique. We start with one point here, just like we'll create a straight line, another point here. We switch over to our node and we decide to create a point. You can either do it this way, create a point, click on the smooth curve and move it, or with your pen tool, click on one point, and as you're clicking on the next point, you drag to create a curve. That's how you create a curve. Now let's look at creating geometric shapes using the pen tool. Let's assume we want to create an octagon, which is an 8-sided shape, geometric shape. Come to this point, we do holding down your shift, you go this way, 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 and that way. That's how you've been able to create an octagon. Let's assume you want to create a maze. We can still go ahead and do this, 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 and like that. These are just basic shapes you can literally create with your pen tool and your node. Now let's say we want to create a triangle with a sharp corner and a smooth corner. Now pay very close attention to this particular one, because at this point we'll be introducing the corner tool. Let's say this is an ideal triangle. Let's say this is our triangle, and we know we have sharp corners at all the different points where we have nodes. So, excuse me, so we can decide to create a smoother corner by using our corner tool. This is how it works. You click on C to activate your corner tool. You select the nodes you want to work on, then you drag. This is how you would create a corner tool. Alternatively, you can decide to create a corner tool this way, duplicate this shape, come back to your node tool, take it back to the position, take it back to that position, and the next thing you do is you hit on the smooth tool right at the top of your canvas, and you have something like this. Then you can now begin to adjust the arm to look like what you have in mind. All right, so these are just the basic principles around the node tool, the pen tool, and the corner tool. Now if we want to apply some of the things we've mentioned earlier, like having a particular node, having the handle of a particular node rotate at only 45 degrees increment. All we need to do is hold down the shift, pick this handle here, and as we move it, you will realize that it's going at only 45 degrees and nothing more. Yeah, that's great. And if we want to apply the part where I mentioned creating a sharp point within your curve, all you need to do is hold down your Alt key, and as you click on one of the handle and move, you realize that you will create a sharp point. And as you can see, it's more or less like helping us create something around that edge that we wouldn't have actually um, created by just merely trying to move the handle without activating a sharp end. That being said, this captures in a bit some of the ways you can demonstrate how to use these basic tools called pen tool, node tool, corner tool in your vector designs and in creating geometric shapes. And this also applies when you need to trace out logos and shapes and or whatnot, especially when you need to talk about converting a raster logo into a vector logo. These tools will literally come in handy at this point. So it's important we pay a very close attention to these basic principles because they go a long way. Having said that, I want to illustrate a logo while capturing the use of those tools. Okay, so let's delete these. Let's delete these. Let's look for a logo online. Let's take this. Okay, so we imported an image, a raster image, and we want to convert it to a vector image, applying the principles we have learned. I'm just going to zoom in so I can have a few view of what I'm trying to do, and we can start with the straight lines. Using straight lines is one of the easiest ways to trace in Affinity Designer. And by the way, if while you're using the straight line and you're trying to click on a particular spot and it's proving difficult, just hold down your Option or your Alt key and you freely move to position your dots. Okay, now this captures the first principle I talked about, which is drawing a straight line, connecting two nodes to draw a straight line. That is what we've just captured here. Now let's begin to create the curves. I have to activate the node tool by punching A on my keyboard, and there we are. we will begin to draw to begin to take the shape of this eagle head. Okay. Pay close attention to the spots. I'm going to make the spots smooth by using the corner tool. Pressing C to activate your corner tool, you can literally do this and you have a smooth corner tool. That didn't really work as I expected it. That really didn't work as I expected it. But let's make use of this too, and I believe will capture what we have in mind. Bring this down, take this up, and bring this up. Okay, so we're good like that. Can move this just so it's really not a do or die. Just take your time, no pressure, and can reposition this and this and this. So yeah, we can reposition this to be able to capture this and that, to be able to capture this and that, to be able to capture this and that, to be able to capture this and that. So I want to be sure I'm not just forming the curves myself, I'm actually following what the original creator did. So, yeah. Okay. So voila. Applying those three tools, we've been able to trace the head of this eagle. Now, this is just for experimental purposes and the image is not mine. This is just for educational purposes. Let's trace out the second level. Select our pen tool and here we go. Okay. Then we go again. Go again. We go again. We go again. Like that. 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 So don't really worry about where the point line. You can always adjust them when you're ready. You can always adjust them when you're ready. Like that. Like that. Yeah. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that, 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 that, like that, that, like that, and yeah, it's looking all messed up, but by the time we begin to apply, use our node tool to adjust the curves, it will begin to make sense, just like we would have it now. What do we have here? Okay, so we're done with the second stage of tracing this image. Now we move on to the next stage, which is tracing out the white part of this image. I think at this point I just want to duplicate this part, and let me not duplicate it, let me just trace it. So no, I think we're not done yet. Yeah, we're almost there. So there we are. We've been able to use this same tool to recreate this image. This is how you can literally use your node, pen and corner tool in your vector designs. I hope in this video you have been able to learn the basics of how to use the pen tool, node tool and the corner tool in Affinity Designer. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Click the notification bell so you will be notified each time I put up a new video, and so that beginners and aspiring designers and designers who are just transitioning into Affinity Designer can see this video and learn from it too. Thank you once again. See you next time.